Today we are talking about why England lost the Euro 2020 final to Italy. If you are new, be sure to subscribe. My name is Tony and this is the TGS football channel. So if you like football, be sure to stay around and watch some of the other videos. But yeah, let's get into why England lost this final, in my opinion, of course. The first thing we have to talk about is the starting lineups of the teams. This is kind of what they came out with, a 5-back. Sorry if it's a little off like symmetry, but yeah, they came out with a 5-back, and I'm not sure how that's the way I would have started, but it worked initially because England scored and Italy were a little confused. You know, the centre mids Verratti and Barella were running around like headless chickens, couldn't cover the wing backs Shaw and Trippier, and they combined and they scored. That was really the story of the first 20 minutes. England were pretty good, creating chances. Kane was in the game, spraying the ball around, and yeah, credit for the starting lineup, I guess, to Southgate. That's all I'm gonna give him credit for in this part of the in this video. But he is really my first reason on why England lose this game. The criticism I have to give to him to start it off is as soon as they score and they've been in the game and they've dominated and Italy look on the ropes, because Italy started real deep and England were getting all kinds of joy. What do? They went and played defensive. They all went and sat on the edge of their box, and then it was park the bus and try and counter. But there wasn't really any countering going on because England were booting the ball up and Kane couldn't touch it down, Mount couldn't touch it down. So yeah, England was sitting very, very deep, and it was reminiscent of the Croatia semi-final, right? Like, they were just sitting there. Italy were allowed to get into the game. Jorginho and Verratti, world-class players whose real their game and their value comes from holding the ball and passing the ball. That is what they're there to do. England pressed them high and didn't give them time on the ball early, but after 20 minutes they all drop off. They give these players time and Italy start getting into the game, dominating the ball and tiring England out. Credit to Declan Rice because he was stopping a lot. He was being the out ball running up the field. I've got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, the sub when he came off was kind of shocking to me because he was the best player on the pitch at the time, maybe apart from Chiesa. And obviously Chiesa has to be part of the reason England lost. That guy was on fire. Man, he was crazy. Like, I have to give him credit. Such a good player. Such a good player. He's never played like that when I've watched, apart from once, for Juventus. I'm talking about, not for Italy. When he played against Porto in the Champions League and he scored 2 goals in the knockouts. He was excellent that day. I didn't know he had that in his locker this tournament. He's been excellent, honestly, the whole tournament. But moving on, obviously my first reason is the defensive mindset, and that was kind of illustrated in the subs, which Mancini showed his intent with his subs, and Southgate showed his intent. Mancini's intent was to go out, try and win the game, create chances, and Southgate's was we're going to be as defensive as possible and hold on for penalties, I guess. Like, these subs don't make sense to me, okay? You guys tell me if you understand the subs. So, Mancini's subs went Immobile, who wasn't in the game. He was terrible. He hasn't been good the whole knockout stage. I don't know what it is about him in big games, but he scores like 30-odd goals a season, and he doesn't seem to perform in big games. But anyway, Insigne went to strike. Chiesa came here, and Berardi came on. Where's my Berardi? And this really helped Italy because it was more fluid. They were moving all around, like they were interchanging. There was more pace. There was more movement in behind because Immobile don't run in behind. He's exactly who Stones and Maguire want to play against. The guy who's going to stand in front of them and play into feet. And this was starting to cause England a lot more problems. He also, at the same time, took Barella off, who wasn't having a good game. He was on a card too. And Cristante on, which he's got a lot more height than the rest of the midfield. He's more physical, and we saw, I think it was him who wins the initial header from Italy's goal. So, I mean, that worked. I can't tell you what else he done, right? I don't remember him even being in the game apart from that header, but he made an effect just because of his height and physicality, right? Like, compared to the other midfielders here. And Italy dominating the ball, right? And then England's first sub, right? England's first sub, right? Those are very attacking subs, right? You're bringing on a winger going more fluid, trying to score a goal. He takes off Trippier, changes the entire system to a 4 at the back, right? More to what England have played. Mount, come on, play centre mid. And Saka, come on. On the face of it, this is meant to be an attacking sub, I guess. But it didn't really change much in England because you're still kind of defending the same way, just with one player less further back and one in the midfield. And it didn't really give them much of an out ball. And I don't think Trippier was really the problem, right? I think the problem was more the front three. Like Mount Sterling, Kane were not in the game. You couldn't get him in the game, right? It wasn't that Trippier was getting ripped or like the five back. Well, the five back wasn't working because they weren't going forward. And if you want to tell me that the players are sitting back because they're scared and it's not the manager, like Gary Neville likes to say all the time, oh, Southgate would never tell his players to play differently. Of course he would. That you listen to your manager. You don't do what you want on a football pitch. Yeah, that was the first sub. The second sub was even more mystifying to me because it was taking off Declan Rice, who was the best player on the pitch, and bringing on Jordan Henderson. Now, I was a guy who would take Henderson, like when we were doing Euro predictions. I know I didn't make a video on my squad, but I had Henderson in there to be a leader off, like sitting in the bench, right? And leading and giving people advice, not on the pitch. I don't think he's had a good game. I know he scored against Ukraine, right? It was the fourth goal. The game was over. He was terrible. Like, he didn't do anything that I can remember that was positive. He was a passenger on the pitch and obviously got subbed off before penalties, right? So those are the first two subs. England, they go more defensive. They bring on Henderson. They bring on Saka, I guess, to give him more of a counter-attacking threat. I don't know. It was kind of the same thing because Saka was basically playing right back, the how deep England were. We go on to the next few subs for Italy again. I believe the next one was Bernardeschi because Chiesa got injured. That was a forced sub. They keep their formation. The next subs they made, Locatelli to take off for Verratti, straight swap, and they bring on Belotti for Insigne. Going more of a target man, changing up the system a little bit, getting fresh legs in. They were dominating. They didn't need to change the way they were playing. They just freshened it up. And England didn't freshen up the team. This is what I don't understand about his subs. He didn't make subs against Denmark either, right? I think they just got a little lucky that Denmark were more tired than they were because obviously England had the ball against Denmark, whereas Italy had so much of the ball. England were chasing it all game long. They were tired, and he didn't make enough subs. You have 6 subs, right, including extra time. You have 5 and then a 6 for extra time. And I believe he made, 3 in that time? And obviously we go to extra time. Those were in extra time. Mount comes off for Grealish, straight swap. Didn't change much. Yeah, Grealish won a few fouls here and there. He had a block shot, whatever. He didn't make much impact on the game. Neither did Saka, except Chiellini like pulling him back, like in the cartoons, like where a kid's trying to run away from a teacher. It's kind of what it reminded me like. And obviously there was a few. I think the last sub that he made was just taking that to freshen it up again. It was at the last minute. And in England's last few subs were bringing Sancho and Rashford on for pens. That mystified me. Why not bring them on earlier to get a chance to impact the game? That just shows me you were playing for pens and you were scared to lose. Right? You were scared to lose because Sterling was, I want to say he was terrible. He wasn't in the game, and that happens. You can take Sterling off, Southgate. I don't think Sterling missed the minute of this tournament. He was poor. Take him off and get fresh legs in. He's tired. He's played so much. Get Rashford in there, right? Bring on Sancho, and if you have to take off one of these players, and do it. He didn't do that. He kept this team, and obviously they were tired. Italy dominated the rest of the game, and they won on penalties. Yeah, I'm not going to criticize the penalty takers. I don't think they deserve it. Yeah, Saka, Sancho, and Rashford's penalties were poor. Jorginho had a poor penalty too. So did Belotti. So we're not going to insult them. I don't understand why people feel the need to like racially abuse them or even criticize them for it. It is what it is. I heard Southgate, which is my last reason here. I heard Southgate pick the penalty takers. It's a little weird. I would not have had Saka on a penalty myself. I don't even know I would have bought on Sancho and Rashford to take penalties, right? Like, I feel like Luke Shaw would have buried one. I feel like even Kyle Walker might have buried one, to be fair. But the thing is, he bought them on. They hadn't even touched the ball. And the first thing they need to do is shoot the ball on the goal. Which, to me, it was poor. It was poor there. Tactical decisions poor. Again, I need to know why maybe Jude Bellingham didn't come in instead of Henderson to give him more industry. It just shows that they were playing to be safe rather than do it. I might have even tried Calvert-Lewin in this game. Maybe try him and Kane and stay at the 5 back just because he's a target man. And a lot of this tournament, England have not had an out ball and they've been pinned in and just tried to be solid defensively. I think Calvert-Lewin suits the way they play a little more than Kane, even though Kane is obviously a lot better than him. I just like to give him some minutes, try him out. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say on this matter, man. The subs for me were the main reason, and the mentality. Like, the mentality was we're gonna hold a 1-0 lead against the best team in the tournament. And yeah, like it doesn't matter who. It's really hard to not concede a goal in against great players, right? Or against really good players. So credit to Italy, man. I think Italy deserved to win. I think Mancini was the better manager on the day. I think they played better on the day. I think he made much better decisions tactically. Man for man, they played better than England. You guys, let me know what you think, man. Why did England lose? Are you proud of the team? I'm pretty happy they made the final, honestly. I didn't expect them to make a final. I didn't even expect them to get out of the round of 16 against Germany, but yeah, prove me wrong. I have to give a shout out to Rice for he was excellent in the whole tournament. Rice really impressed me this tournament. Sterling, I think Sterling kind of justified why he was in the team. He scored 4 goals. Would it have been better if Sterling was on the bench? Would it have been a lot more attacking and fluid? Maybe, but we'll never know. I mean, Southgate has his favourites, and his favourites play every week. I think that factors into why he doesn't change it up. I think he's a little scared to change it up. He doesn't want to lose, right? He's scared of losing, which, that's not good. You don't want a manager who's scared of losing. I've seen a lot of people come out and really criticize him and say he's not good enough. The players carried him, and in some ways I do agree that he's not a top manager. But what he does have is that man management, similar to Zidane, where yeah, he might not be tactically as good as a Mourinho or a Mancini or a Guardiola, Tuchel, the top manager. He's not as tactically good as these guys, but his man management is good. The players respect him, and the players play for him, right? And yeah, that's reflected in the subs, right? Like the subs and people have played, and you can't always have it all. When you look at Mourinho, he's one of the greatest of all time. Yet he can't stay at a club for more than 3 years because the players turn out to start hating him after 3 years, right? So he's an abrasive guy, but his tactics are excellent. Or he has been excellent in the past. I just think it's a sticky one of how you replace him if you can. With who? I'd love to see Arsene Wenger personally. I think that would be interesting. But yeah, man, disappointing. But you guys let me know what you think. I'll see you all in the next one.